All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Bowker, very excited to be talking to an individual who will be headlining BYB 33 Wolverhampton Brawl, which goes down on November the 9th. And we've got that BYB Super Cruiserweight Police Gazette Diamond Belt being contested for. And Brad Scott going to be stepping into that mighty trigon that BYB showcases their fighters in. And great having Marko Martinjak on Bare Knuckle Bowker to talk a bit ahead of the fight. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, man. How are you?
Yeah, no, doing good, man. Cannot complain at all. It's just so much going on with this card and your fight in general, just multiple world title fights and whatnot, and just a continuation of that, I guess the benefits of, BYB acquiring BKB, just more of that UK presence and stuff like that. So it just seems like a big event out in Wolverhampton in general.
Yeah, I think that if the BYB didn't buy the BKB, we would still fight. I think better than me, but they changed the category. So last time I fight Greenwood at 210 pounds, now is 200 pounds. So they changed categories like in professional boxing. So I have to cut like 6, 7 kilos, but I'm like 2, 3, 2, 2.5 kilos from the desired weight for fight for weigh-ins. Sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of interesting because you have experience in several weight categories for sure, winning championships across multiple divisions. But is there certain things you've had to get adapted to in a sense? Like, I mean, you're talking about some of the differences in the weight categories, which, like, I imagine that would, I guess, cause you to structure your camps a bit differently. Like, maybe, I guess, the diet's a bit different or how you go about certain training potentially. Like, how have you, I guess, adapted to some of the changes that have taken place for you in recent times?
I started this camp like 2.5 months ago in August, so it was very warm. So it was like it was no problem to lose like 3.5, 4 kilos of water from myself in the training process. And my wife is she's also making my nutrition and my meals and my diet regimes. And like I said, currently I'm like 93 kilos and two more to go, and that's not a problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like so much has, I guess, changed in that regard since the last time we talked. Like it seems like your partner was always present for you in terms of the facets you just kind of outlined there. But yeah, I mean, just so much has happened since that last fight. Like you had the big proposal in the ring, which was great to see. Like just yeah, I love to, see all that, man. It seems like a good time for you personally and professionally.
Yeah, thank you. And we got married like September 6th. We got married, so yeah, everything is good. Everything is great, but always can be better, you know.
Yeah, no, good attitude. You can't like rest on the laurels. There's always something to keep building towards and stuff like that. And something that I'd kind of found interesting as well, not that you haven't done this before per se, because you're very game for whatever combat sports, but seems like you've gotten in a bit of gloved boxing action since your last bare knuckle fight, and it seems like you've thrived for sure. Like a couple first round knockouts there. I mean, did everything with that gloved boxing foray in between these bare knuckle fights, did it all play out as you kind of wanted it to in a sense, or is it a similar kind of thing that you were saying before where it's like, oh yeah, there's always ways we can learn and improve and get better and all?
Yeah, you listen every day, especially me. I am always 1% better than I was yesterday. You know, my biggest enemy is myself. So as long as I want this, nobody will beat me. And first thing when I start to like this is the pet go other sides, that isn't me anymore. But with the professional boxing we started because we doesn't want to to have long pauses between bare knuckle fights. Like you know, I right now I have 6 fights in 2 years. That is a new contract. So I presume this is my first fight. Then in the February, March, and then June, and then maybe the next the last the in the end of the year. So I think between my bare knuckle fight is going to be like four and a half months, and because of that, we decided to put my game back in professional boxing. And yes, I won two fights, two first round KOs, but those guys aren't on the level. Uh, Many better fighters wouldn't come to enter to fight me because when they see my bare knuckle record, my fights, they see big potential to their record, danger to their record. So the plan is to finish this bare knuckle and one, and then maybe one more win to move up on the ranks, and then start with some serious fighters. And I hope I'm gonna win them all. Maybe I will resurrect their professional career. Never know. You never know. Like true Rocky story.
Yeah, and it's cool that you, I guess, even have those different opportunities. I feel like a lot of the bare knuckle promotions are pretty flexible with guys having those gloved opportunities outside of the competitive space. So cool you're able to do that. And I guess it's kind of an interesting situation with this newer bare knuckle deal that you've signed because it's one of those things where, like, by virtue of you more often than not being in these title fights, it kind of creates this dynamic where you're almost fighting at perhaps a slightly lower rate than you would want to, just because they have to like align these different title fights on different cards and strategize a little bit. So, yeah, just yeah, cool to see you have like the multi-fight deal, but also good that they're, I guess, allowing you to stay active even when the bare knuckle is a bit more spaced out for you.
Yeah, I don't have problem to fight nowhere with gloves. I can fight with gloves. I can fight in MMA. I can fight in boxing. I can fight in kickboxing. But as long as I have gloves on the fists, I can fight. Bare knuckle, I'm just with BYB. I will how do you say that? I will do my contract like a warrior, like a champion. And I like to be in champions fights. That means that they know how do you say that? I'm sorry, I'm a little tired, so I can find the right words. They love me, you know. Jim, Joe, Mike, and Mel, they love me, and they give me just big fights. My plan is to move to Bridger because this cutting is coming more seriously affecting my health, and I don't want to lose any more like 8 kilos, and I don't like that. I like eating, you know, and when I can't eat, I'm a little nervous. And you're walking in the street, everybody smells from restaurants. In my neighborhood there are a couple of very good restaurants, and smells from them, you know, and you want to eat and you can't. So my my plan is to fight in the future in the bridgerweight, also in professional boxing and in bare knuckle boxing.
So perhaps your days here in the like super cruiserweight kind of space, like maybe it's more, I guess this pursuit is mindful of, capturing yet another championship and then maybe focus on Bridger thereafter as you're kind of talking about there. I guess in saying that, like I wonder how much of a, I mean, obviously you're predominantly focused on your opponent, but is there like a peripheral even kind of awareness of the Dan Podmore and Ryan Barrett fight on the card, just being that the Police Gazette Bridgerweight title is on the line in that fight on this same card?
Listen, I am defending champion here. You know, they promote me to the BYB Police Gazette champion of the world. And as much I respect Dan and Ryan, I think they are nowhere near my level. I think that Brad Scott is more dangerous fighter than them, and I will prove that. And but I think I'm better than all of them. And at first of that, I'm gonna prove that on the night of the November. And I hope that Jim will and Joe will give me the fight for Bridgerweight Championship, because the that was the ex BKB Cruiserweight Championship, and I was their champion. And nobody didn't beat me to take my belt. My belt was taken from me because I was in jail. So if you want to be the best, you have to take out the best. And I am the best, and everybody knows that. Those guys weren't even fighting when I was a champion there, except Podmore. I think the Podmore fight was fighting to 2018, I think so. But Barrett and those guys, Scott, Greenwood, they didn't know what bare knuckle is when I fought for BKB. if I wasn't in prison like 3.5 years, I would have record like maybe 25 more wins, maybe two losses. The prison took the 3.5 years from my career, but listen, I'm already legend. If I retire tomorrow from fighting, I have nothing to prove to nobody. I prove to myself. I was 7 time champion of the world, and but with this, I wanna put my existence from my family to open the gym in a couple of in 2 years for my boxers. My wife is in fitness like 20 years. She has much knowledge of that on diet, on strength trainings and stuff like that. So I think if we manage to open the gym, that is our dream. That we will have a lot of work, maybe a couple of future champions in boxing, and we will see what future brings. Right now, I'm concentrated on Scott.
Yeah, for sure, and definitely a lot to touch on with that fight. But I mean, yeah, like the resume speaks for itself. I mean, we've obviously done interviews and whatnot over a few of your fights now, but I feel like for people who are kind of
This is
just getting
third.
into, pardon?
This is third.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a little bit. I think we started talking around like that massive multi-continent trilogy against Jerome
Yeah,
Hatch, but
before that and before Greenwood.
yeah, such a great resume, man. I mean, gold at super middleweight, light heavyweight, cruiserweight, and from what I can tell, it seems like you're vying for gold and even additional weight categories here thereafter. So definitely, speaks volumes to the resume and I guess the general gamesmanship too. I think like one of the things that I've always respected as someone who pretty regularly covers bare knuckle is the guys who've done both BKB and BYB because as much as they're both bare knuckle, they're almost like different things in a certain regard just because BYB has that different competitive space and they've got the active clinch and then the day before weigh-ins versus like the day of weigh-ins and the slightly different style that BKB brings. And you've clearly thrived in both, so it just shows how, I guess, adaptable and game that you are.
Thank you. But listen, I think that weigh-ins a day before is bad. I think they should stay with BKB to put the weigh-ins on a day of the fight because you have 36 hours after morning weigh-ins, official weigh-ins, so you can, especially the MMA guys who can, in 36 hours they can back like 10 kilos. Like Hedge did it in London. He was like 88.3, and on the day night, on the fight night, he was like 98. So this is a big difference. But if you're a school boxer, good boxer like me, you can fight in trigon, you can fight in a circle, you can fight in the ring, and everybody forget that I was a world champion kickboxing. Everybody forget that I was a Muay Thai champion. So I know how to clinch. I don't use it, but if will I have to use it, I will use. But real boxer will not get in the clinch. Look at Gustavo Turillo. I admire that guy. For me, with me, he's the best fighter in the planet.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I feel almost compelled to ask you if that would be a fight you'd ever be interested in down the line, because you seem game to fight in whatever weight division. Is that a fight that you'd be
He's
intrigued
too
by?
big. He has like 115 kilos, and I'm like 93 now. So if I go to 100, he must go to 15 kilos down. I think that is too much cut for him. But yeah, it will be a good fight. He's a big guy, strong guy, know how to box, and I like his style very much.
Yeah, no, super exciting for sure, and everything like that. Yeah, just a lot of momentum going into this fight, just with you having beaten the BKB British heavyweight champion and then capturing that light heavyweight belt. I guess with Scott here coming up, because I guess there's a certain connectivity being that he also fought Kevin Greenwood, albeit in his situation, he ended up going to a draw there. But yeah, I mean, he's got a certain pedigree in a certain sense, just, being from that UFC background and three stoppages and three bare knuckle victories so far. Like, what are your thoughts, I guess, what Brad Scott brings to the table in terms of his, I guess, stylistic attributes and just general resume and everything?
I think he's a good fighter. I think that he has a heavy hits. but he's not fast, smooth, silk, and accurate as me. I think that he will prefer to do that clinch thing. And if you see guys who he won, and when you see my resume, everything is cleared. I knocked out Greenwood in 49 seconds. He had draw with him, so that is also a big difference.
Is there a certain way you? I guess it's kind of interesting. I wonder how much you're someone that practices visualizing your fights. I feel like when we've talked, you're more in line with just being adaptable with wherever the fight might go in the body of the fight. Like, do you have any kind of defined idea or even, I guess, a reoccurring visualization of how you may see this fight ending, or is it a matter of just being as best prepared as you can and being in more of like a flow state on the night and being adaptable with whatever could happen, I guess?
I'm That's everything you said. I'm everything. Listen, I am very study. I like to study my opponents. I looked Brad's Scott's fights with Greenwood and Martin Ranger like 200, 300 times. I was finding his mistakes, and I found them, how do you say? But I have visuals. I put my visual. I have my when I going to sleep. Every night I going to sleep. I have visual of my fight, and I think this fight is not gonna enter the third round in my favor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just such an exciting fight, man. I mean, I was really stoked to see it come together. I think it just makes a tremendous amount of sense to book you guys together at this juncture. I'm kind of curious because I kind of mentioned, I guess, in a cursory way, like the multi-continent, I guess, trilogy that you had with Jerome Hatch there. Like, is there any kind of idea you have going forward of like, I guess maybe wanting to fight in the States for one of the future BYB cards? Are you looking to, I guess, like steadily compete on the UK circuit, being that you have such a presence over there too in like a localized kind of way, like, or you're kind of just game to fight wherever, like just kind of set up a ring anywhere and I'm down to throw down.
Listen, UK is not my home.
Yeah.
America is not my home. My home is Croatia. I fight every time I fight on enemy turf. So they promised me if I won, and I said when I won next fight against Scotland, my next fight is gonna be in America. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna be America. You wanna put it in Japan? You wanna put it in Dubai again? Just let me fight. Just give me the moment to do what I do the best. That is the knocking out the people. I'm the only fighter who has like 10 wins. I have 10 wins and all wins with stoppages, just like Trujillo. He's 6 wins, 6 knockouts. I am 10 wins, 10 KOs. No one else. No one else.
Yeah, again, another instance rather of the results and the resume speaking volumes for sure. I think we got to get a BYB Croatia card going at some point. Like maybe get Mirko Crow Cop like a seat next to the Trigon, like right there up front or something like that. Like let's get her going. I think Marko Martinjak headlining a BYB Croatia card has to be done at some point, right?
We talk about that. They were supposed to come before the show in Leeds to negotiate the arena, but they couldn't. So Joe promised me to talk about that when I come to Wolverhampton. Me, him, and Jim and Mike will sit down. Maybe May or maybe September, because from June and September the Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, is like it's a ghost town. Everybody goes on vacation on the coast. So maybe before the vacation, like before vacation, like May or maybe September when everybody comes back. I think that is the best. And if will they listen to me, I would put like Balkan BYB Balkan against the world. So we have a couple of good fighters here who fought in local bare knuckle. Also, a couple of them fought in bare knuckle BKFC. So they have, and many of them are MMA fighters. Many of them are boxers with like 150 to 100 amateur fights, and a couple of them professional. So it's gonna be a very good card. Me, Emil Markic, Emil Markic who fought with Joe Angelo now in Denver. Vaso Bakocevic from Serbia. I think it's gonna be listen, they have for them 1,500 people. This sold out. I promised them here 7 to 8 thousand people on the event, and it's gonna be full. And it's gonna be burned on
Yeah, I mean,
fire.
I could.
Sorry, on fire.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess what's the regulatory landscape like in Croatia for bare knuckle? Like, I mean, it seems like from what you're talking about, there'd be people from like MMA and boxing that would be game to do it. Like, is there any, I guess, precedent set for bare knuckle shows in Croatia? Like, is there like athletic commissions that have overseen shows previously, or would BYB almost be breaking newer ground on this show that they're
No, we
talking
don't
about
have
mostly?
a commission. We don't have commission. We have like Golden Fight. It's from promotion from my friend. He had like two bare knuckle fights in April, but no commission. You want to fight bare knuckle, you will put bare knuckle on the card, and that's it. It was a card with K1 boxing and MMA. It was all, and it was like 6,000 people in arena. No, it is the arena of Dražen Petrovic, the famous Croatian basketball player. So if they come here, they're gonna enjoy it, and I think if they see how big this is gonna be here in Croatia, every year they will come back. Maybe 2 years, 2 times per year. Believe me.
Yeah, I believe it. I feel like there's such a great like wealth of talent out there and whatnot, and it's cool that you wanna bring it out there and see these guys showcase their skills and everything like that. Like it seems like you wanna also, I mean, get this opportunity yourself individually, but also have opportunities for other fighters to kind of do their thing as well. Yeah, it's just great to see. Like even in my home country, like I feel like there's more. I guess like regional circuits or just like different circuits to say popping up throughout the country in different leagues, kind of offering bare knuckle and whatnot. So just good to see people getting more opportunities in that sport globally.
Yeah, that's nice. I think the bare knuckle is the most is a much faster rising than the mixed martial arts couple 10 years ago. You know.
Yeah, and there's something about the nature of the action too. Like for me, it's very hard to get my girlfriend to watch like a lot of combat sports, I would say. Like I feel like boxing and MMA are largely kind of like non-starters for her, but there's something about the pacing of bare knuckle that she'll actually like kind of organically be interested and like want to sit down and peep it. So it's even kind of getting in some newer people that I mean, I'm going off of an anecdotal thing obviously, but just people who don't even necessarily seem to have much interest in other combat sports. Like there's something about bare knuckle that elicits a unique kind of reaction, it seems like.
My wife, when we were still just dating, she was with me on in Wolverhampton in March when Padmore lost to Richie Leake and Sweeney beat Connelly. And when she saw that, she was, "Oh my God, what is this? This is awesome, you know." And when we came on that event of Golden Fight in April 1 month ago, when they start hitting with the gloves, she said, "Listen to me, love, I love you, but this is all shit. Bare knuckle, that is the deal." You know, when you hit the guy with the glove, it's like you hit him with a pillow. You know, if you hit, you don't have much so cuts. You can break the guy jaw so easily. You can break his nose, his teeth out, his eye sockets. And when we were also in Jacksonville, when the BYB bought BKB, she was also thrilled. She said, this is the best combat sport I saw." And she liked combat sports. She loved them. Loves.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. I love hearing that. And I'm gonna love checking out this card for sure. It's cool to see you, so prominent on the event. I feel like that's always gonna be the case though. I mean, they call you the Emperor of BYB for a reason, right?
Yeah, this is like, wait, this is my Chet Kelly, Hitch, Greenwood, Scott. This is my sixth event that I am the sixth event. This is my sixth fight from when from 2022 when I come back. This is the fifth one that I'm the main event.
Yeah, and it's cool to see like the Police Gazette titles established. I mean, you're no stranger to Police Gazette Gold previously, obviously, but cool to see that that's the predominant title they're using now. And just beforehand, you having been that first men's Police Gazette World Double Diamond Police belt holder. I mean, it seems like you're in a good position to even keep increasing that sort of record. I feel like when it's all said and done for you, I mean, not that that's going to be anytime soon per se, but I mean, just because you were talking before about like, oh, if I were to stop doing this today, my legacy will be rock solid anyway. Like I feel like based on the things we're talking about as far as like different goals you have in, BYB going forward and just bare knuckle as an extension of that, I feel like you could potentially set even more records at this point that would make it fairly difficult for anyone to kind of catch up to you, I guess. Like, is that something you, I guess, think about in a great deal? Because I think some fighters will talk about that kind of stuff in the sense of really enjoying that they've put together such a body of work. Whereas I think some other fighters almost look at it as like a thing to kind of set up for the next generation almost, if that makes sense, like a thing to strive for or like a certain standard to kind of beat. Like, is there any, I guess, way you look at your career in that kind of regard? Like, do you interpret what you're doing through like those kind of lenses at all?
I have one rule in life. If you fight to be the best. You fight to be the number one. And they say the head who holds the crown for him is the heaviest. My head is not heavy. I wear my crown with pride and dignity. But if you fight to be the best, you fight for your legacy. Then you fight to that your name is remembered by generations. If I'm just a regular guy, when I die, I will be forgotten in maybe 2, 3, 4 generations. But look at the Joe Sullivan. He fight like 1827. And we still talk about his name. Maybe we don't know what the future brings. In the 2, 3 centuries, maybe they'll talk about me. He was one of the best. He was one of the greatest champions, and that is the legacy. Then you know that name didn't die in vain.
No, I mean, powerful words, man. I mean, definitely well said. And I mean, even in a certain sense, that could maybe even, I guess, serve as like a kind of final parting thought for you, just how well articulated it was. But I also figured I'd give you the floor in case there was anything you wanted to mention, like any shout outs or just any kind of general parting thought you wanted to add as we're wrapping up here. I do appreciate you making the time to talk today, Marco.
No problem for you always, my brother. I just want to say thanks to all fans for the support and be with me on night of remember when I gonna capture the fourth Police Gazette diamond belt.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive event. I'll certainly be checking out what's going on. Multiple title fights on a deep card, and another instance of you headlining, as we were kind of talking about. Such a great fight with Brad Scott as well. And just, yeah, stoked for BYB 33. I'm sure people will be checking out Wolverhampton Brawl on November 9th, as I will be. And yeah, thanks again for coming on Bare Knuckle Bowker. Marco, I'll be peeping your BYB Super Cruiserweight Police Gazette Diamond title fight and the rest of the card. And just you have a good rest of your day, man. Thanks so much.
Oh, I go to sleep, man. Here is 9 p.m. and thank you for inviting me in the show
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, yeah, you have a good rest and all the best for the week ahead and everything, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.